Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM, we want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Classic hip-hop channel like no other.
Hey, yo, you got the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan.
It's your homie Ice Cube.
Yo, this is the Queen Latifah.
It's your boy Busta Rhymes.
What up, though? It's your boy Big Snoop Dogg.
Curated by the greatest.
Real hip-hop fans that love hip-hop music, this is for you.
LL Cool J's Rock the Bells Radio. Channel 43. To hear LL Cool J's Rock the Bells Radio, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Yo, the movement has already begun. Where are you?
We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Connect with the R&B and hip-hop that's hot now. Discover who's next. And stay up on the culture.
Cause Drake don't know how to kiss and not tell.
On the heat.
Girl, your BB is a zero. My back shot sound like bongo.
Channel 46 and on the SiriusXM app. Included in all trials and popular plans.
And so are JT, Beyonce, Usher, and Rihanna. Along with the rest of the pop hits that shaped the sound of the new millennium. SiriusXM's Pop 2K, a non-stop commercial-free flashback to the era of boy bands, telephones, and MP3s. On Channel 10. To hear this channel, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or head to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
There you go now.
I think I'm
Oh, that's nice. There you go now.
I think I'm
Oh, that's nice. It's Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Good afternoon, everybody! Hear the passion.
Be aggressive. Get something done.
Hear the knowledge.
The game, folks, is about two plays, and that's what it comes down to.
Hear the personality.
I'm going to start here in an angry mood.
Got somebody on the radio that has made him a sports talk legend.
Does that make any sense to you? God, you're crazy.
It's Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Russo. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 01868.
Round of Deportes, Bonjour, Vitamin Vici. Let's get ready to rumble.
C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to me. And people who love the universe give that some praise. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I keep saying I've joined. Be careful when you volunteer for something, because my neighbors volunteered me for the Neighborhood Watch program because they see you always up anyway. And so when I try to bring the neighborhood together, I try to always do it at 3 o'clock. But someone forgot to tell me that 3 o'clock in the morning is not a good time. Well, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. You can follow Big C Sports today, sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. If you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord split you. It's full of driving a fleet of Cadillac cars all across the universe. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast 29 applications: Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, Good Pods Podcast, Amazon Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, the Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Global Podcast, Podcast Policy. I'm telling you, there's one more. There's Podcast Republic, but there's all one that used to scare me, but now it doesn't. It's all fees, not AI. The robots are trying to take over. Give robots some praise. You still want to give them praise, Curry, because what if they take over from you? Okay, maybe don't give the robots praise, but when you can give praise to, I love telling you that Big C Sports Podcast is streaming OTT on 4 TV podcast platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But you better have a smart TV. You might just be sitting there looking at us to a picture. Really do appreciate that. I want to also say what I do on every program. I love paying homage to our veterans. We have a Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know anybody going through issues, and you don't have to be a veteran, but they will stand on their head to get you some help. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. I know we all need somebody to lean on. It is nice when somebody's leaning back. I want to say, what did Teddy Pendergrass say? He said it's so good leaning on somebody with somebody leaning back. That's not what he said, Curry. He said it's so good loving somebody when somebody loves you back. We want the real Teddy Pendergrass. Well, you can't get the real Teddy Pendergrass. You gotta take Big C Teddy. Is that Big C Teddy? I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. And light came. Let there be light on reparations. That we got to do that for the United States of America. I really do appreciate doing Big C Sports and giving out that message. And I think the NFL and NBA are going to catch on to try to carry that message. You can follow Big C Sports, as I always produce. That's number 1. Number 2, I direct the topics. Number 3, I broadcast all the shows. Number 4, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. And number 5, the commercials are done. Unlike most shows that run an hour, they have a pause like maybe 3 times throughout the show, and then they'll run a couple of commercials. I do mine all up front, called pre-roll. I just keep going and going and going and going. And then I'm telling you, the stats are provided. I do the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. First and goal from the 3-yard line up to the line of scrimmage. The Packers, and I set formation, Jordan Love. You have Detroit in the goal line stand. Jordan Love pulls the snap down, runs to the right. He's going to get the goal on the end zone. Touchdown! Green Bay Packers! Yeah, they got some. What did Tina Turner say? She said, "What's love got to do with it?" All's fair, love and war. But I think they'll be trying to do that more next year than this year. And then number 9, I upload the show that goes out to 29 podcast platforms all over the universe. And I'm in Dimdale Hills, California. It comes out of New York City, if that makes sense to you. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms. And then number 10, I never missed a show. And it goes up to 4 TV platforms. Never missed a show since starting Big C Sports back in the day with the crew. Give that some praise. Give that some praise. I love saying give that some praise. I hear a lot of sports people now talking about praise. They ain't been to church in 29 days, but they want to give the church some praise. And don't forget to bring the tithe. How do you pay tithe in the church when nobody carries money nowadays? Most people, they don't carry cash. Most people pull out a debit card, which is like cash, but you can't lose it if you don't know the PIN code. You can't use someone's debit card. I believe that's the case. And credit card, some places they don't even ask for ID. You just swipe the credit card. So debit cards seem to be a little bit safer way to carry cash. I was giving out some food today, like I normally do, and some good old boys. I like to give out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because if I run out of people to find, they sure taste good. Not only do they taste good, it brings me back to the days when I was a young boy and peanut butter jelly sandwich. Boy, you could have a peanut butter jelly sandwich. All you needed was 2 slices of bread, some peanut butter, and some jelly, and then Mama put it on the bread. You said, "Give me some praise. Give my mama some praise." That peanut butter and jelly sandwich, when you were a little kid, 7, 8, 9 years old, you think you at the most fancy restaurant in some city in Dimdale Hills, California. So I love giving out plastic bags of food to people. There's a lot of people that are in need. But even today, one guy, I gave him 2 sandwiches, and then I gave him some napkins, of course. And he said, "Can you give me $5?" I said, $5 is baby crap. What I'm trying to give you, reparations. But I said, I don't have any cash because I don't carry cash on me. I mean, if I do have $5, I use that for gas, just in case, just in case I need a gallon. $5 don't go as long as it used to. I was at the gas station today talking to a good old boy, and we were talking about the price of gas, and he was saying how, I said, "Man, I remember when I was in college, you could buy gas for 99 cents. He was older than me. He said, "I remember when I was in college, you could buy gas for 25 cents. Times have changed. So now, $5 of gas was a lot when I was in college. But now it's just 1 gallon. Give 1 gallon some praise. Sometimes that's all you need to get down the road in Dimdale Hills, California. But I love giving out that food for people. And I just appreciate, because a lot of people are appreciative when you give out the money, but obviously I don't carry cash. If I do, it's just $5 for emergency purposes. Because I just had an epiphany. I was at a restaurant in Dimdale Hills, California, and they said our Visa and credit card machines. They said our credit card machines are down. I said, okay, well, I don't have any money, so does that mean I eat for free? They didn't think it was too funny. So we went to an ATM machine and we got some cash out of the ATM, and they charged me $5. Some of these ATM machines, they should be called BYW machines, which is break your wallet. I went and got some money so I could buy some food, and the ATM machine charged me a service fee. I said, give the ATM some praise. Man, they're trying to rip people off. Back in the day, that was a whole tank of gas, $5. But nowadays, it's just a cost of doing business in Dimdale Hills, California. But all fair level work. I wanna do what I always do on Big C Sports Podcast. And people say, "What's that, Curry? Scream?" Yeah, screaming is part of life. I was told when I was a young boy And I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm starting to think it's true. Because many times I've talked to older people and I listen to their wisdom, and a lot of older folks, they have some wisdom in their heels. Now, ladies, you know, they say, what do they say? They say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Well, I don't know if that's true. I think men are from Jupiter and women are from Earth or something of that nature. I don't know if that makes any sense there. But they say, old people say, if you with somebody and they don't snore when they sleep, don't trust them. And sometimes you wonder if you with someone and they're not snoring when they sleep, you say, why are you so quiet when you sleep? It's not sleep apnea. Let me shut up. Maybe it's not as funny as the old guy that told me. He said, what'd he say? He said, if you don't snore when you sleep, it's not sleep apnea. But I gotta tell you something, because I gotta tell this little story. It's kind of a joke. Maybe it's funny. I like to do a quiz on Big C Sports Podcast sometime. Some people say, you're not that funny, Curry. Well, maybe I'm not that funny. But I do know that sometimes funny is as funny it does. So everyone, I'm going to give a quiz, and there's no prize if you win the quiz. But it says riddle. It's riddle me this. Penny has 5 children. Okay, Penny has 5 children, so you know at least she was snoring loud enough to keep the man interested, if that makes sense to you. Because you can't trust a woman who doesn't snore. And then it says, the first is named January. Okay, the kid's named January. That means they were probably doing something, 9 months prior to that. Now the second kid is named February. Okay, well, probably 9 months prior to February, somebody was snoring in somebody's face. Okay, the third kid is called March. Okay, well, that makes sense. Somebody was doing something 9 months before March, if that makes sense to you. Now, the fourth kid is called April. Okay, well, nothing wrong with that. Somebody was doing something 9 months prior to April that, wasn't just snoring, if that makes sense to you. Now, the clue is, what is the name of the fifth? Yeah, that's a praise. Figure it out. It makes sense to you. Petey has 5 children. The first is named January. The second kid is named February. The third kid is called March. Fourth kid is called April. What's the name of the fifth? Give us a praise if you figured it out. May I snore, if that makes sense to you. At the same time, I think that's funny. I want to also, because I'm trying to get better at my joke telling, I was at the dollar store just the other day, and it said jokes for parties. Holidays coming up. You don't want to be the guy that doesn't have funny jokes. So I bought this book at the dollar store, and it had jokes that are worth $1. Worth a weight in gold. I don't know if the jokes are that good, because I tried one and nobody laughed but me. Oh, God. I want to go back to the show. Yo, Curry, please, enough of the jokes. Okay, I want to get off the jokes. I want to give some praise to people that have helped Big C Sports get this talk of reparations, because it's got to happen. I want to say, everyone, please rise and shine. It's always time to rise and shine. I love rising and shining if people stand up for the kickoff and be worthy of God's anointed and blessings. I want to thank the Associated Press, Janie Har, because she did an article on, Curry, did you already tell us? Yeah, and I'm going to keep telling it until we get reparations now. Reparations forever. It's long overdue. Janie Har, the Associated Press, she did an article on reparations. She called Big C Sports a sports guy. And the article was written on March 29th, 2023. It was at a big city. It was a big city building in Denver Hills, California, the Reparations Task Force. And I said, how'd you get my number? She said, we have our ways. I said, what made you call me? She said, I heard you speak. at a reparations task force. And I said, okay, how can I help you? She said, I want to get your thoughts on reparations. I said, you know my thoughts if you heard me speak, just like President Abraham Lincoln. I said, reparations now, reparations forever. And that's my third update with it. She also mentioned President Joe Biden, who all he has to do is sign executive order. I mean, he's been signing other papers to give people money, different countries money. You would think he would sign to give money to the descendants of the group that elected him. Because President Joe Biden would not have been elected if it were not for the majority of the black vote. And Representative Clapper knows that too. But President Biden, he could sign reparations the same way he signed the crime bill. He didn't put the crime bill to a task force. And he knows it. He didn't put Ukraine money when they got the $100 billion. He didn't put that to a task force. He just signed the check, however they wired the money. But it wasn't that. It didn't have to go through meeting after meeting after meeting. And descendants of chattel slavery, black Americans helped build this country for free. And I'm going to talk about it because faith comes by hearing, what my pastor told me. And so when the article was written, it also had Vice President Kamala Harris and California Governor Gavin Newsom. And it seems that a lot of people are talking about the economy nowadays and how they need more money. Gas has come down a little bit in California and dimmed their heels. And food's gone up. But if you grow some of your own food, you kind of offset the balance, or drink a glass or two of water before you even eat. Your stomach's already full, if that makes sense to you. But I love paying homage to the Associated Press because they interviewed a sports guy named Big C Sports. Oh, there you go, Big C. Well, also I want to pay homage to CBS News. The same CBS News that broadcasts NFL football, that has end racism on the back of their stadiums, on the goal line, for people to say, I don't want to learn about politics when I'm watching the game. Well, the NFL is conscious enough to not want those dumb guys to watch the game anyway. So they put end racism on the back of the end zone. Now, who has a problem with ending racism? Just when you think nobody. What did Jim Harbaugh say? His daddy told him, who's got it better than us? Nobody. Who has a problem with ending racism? For the dumb knuckleheads that say, I don't want to listen to politics when I'm watching my game. I want to see touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh man, Willie, he's going all the way. They don't want to hear about ending racism. Don't let those guys in the stadium. Turn off their TV. Turn off your radio. What dumb guy says, I don't want to hear about racism when I'm watching the game? I don't want those guys watching the game. They're too ignorant. And so I'm proud of the NFL for saying end racism on the back of their end zones. And for those of people who say, oh, I don't want to be political. You know, the NFL makes more money than any sporting league in the United States of America. And they're the ones that prominently display end racism on the back of their end zones. That's called a clue! To say you have a problem with saying end racism, you're probably born part of the Ku Klux Klan, even a closet KKK family. But that's also an assumption that white families are evil. And maybe some are when you look at the way this country developed from 1619 to 1865. And then another 100 years of Jim Crow. There were a lot of people who were evil. Even the country was evil toward people of color, black Americans, Native Americans, and Japanese Americans. The country was evil against us. On the dollar bill, it says, in God we trust. The way they were lynching slaves, it could have said, in the devil we trust. So the people that don't want to hear about ending racism, who cares what you think? And that's why it's baffling to me why we haven't had reparations yet. I know it's going to happen in 2024 because President Biden signed Executive Order 13985 that was sent to me by Double O, she's part of the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. Not everybody even knows what that is because a lot of people are so drunk in love and drunk in sports are trying to pay $5 for a gallon of gas. But it's never been paid out in the United States for black Americans. It's been paid to the descendants of Holocaust It's been paid to Native Americans, even Japanese Americans from the internment camps. Everybody but black, which has no standing in court based on the New Order codes. It has to be descendants of chattel slavery. Freedmen. And you only heard about that on Big C Sports. What if he had just not one, not two, not three, not four, not five? What if we had 6 sports leagues that talked about it? Because it's not that far from saying end racism to say reparations are due for descendants of chattel slavery. And we all know that. It's not as if it's a secret. And that's why I love that what I'm saying on Big C Sports, I've been saying this before, it was a common household name, that CBS News, they endorse Big C Sports because they put in an article on reparations with a sports guy. Give that some praise. So even all the knuckleheads that said, man, you talk too much politics. Well, CBS News did an article with Big C Sports named Charlton Curry. CBS News, I don't own CBS News. I also don't own the Associated Press. But I really want to give them praise for taking their head out of the sand and not trying to appease KKK family members or those Southern Confederates that drink a beer and watch a game. Get them out! Go back to your country! When people say, go back to where you came from, I had a white kid tell me that one time in high school, and we were talking about something. It was something about MLK Day or something of that nature. And he said to me, go back to Africa, where you came from. I was a senior in high school. And his name was Roger Shue. He was a quarterback on our team. You know how many times I missed a block when somebody was trying to blitz his backside? He landed strike! But I remember that. He ended up saying, hey, I'm sorry, man, I was just joking. I said, you so stupid, you don't even know that all life came from Africa. So if you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. Because I was never dumb. I did not grow up in a dumb household or ignorant household. But here's a guy that's smiling in my face, handed me the football, and then had the nerve when he's around a large group of white people in a class, say, why don't you go back to Africa where you came from? And some of the white people laughed. I just stared at him as he turned bright red. And when I saw him in the locker room, I didn't punch his face in. I didn't do that to him. He said, hey, I apologize, Curry. I was just joking. I just told him, you're stupid. I said, if you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. All life came from Africa. And that is why it's so important that reparations happens. Because his dumb butt, as a white boy, his ancestry got the Homestead Act that gave him over 276 million acres of land for free. And all the money from the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest, according to Einstein. When those white families got the land, they could go to the bank and get a loan against that land. I grew up where there was a lot of farming. And those white farmers that went to the bank, they said, I got land. I need $1 million. And with that $1 million, they built houses. They paid for their kids to go to school. They took the money, bought insurance policies. They bought cars and planes, trains, and automobiles. But black families didn't get the same treatment from the federal government. And so when someone grows up that ignorant, and they say, why don't you go back to Africa where you came from? His ass was so dumb, he didn't even know that all life came from Africa. And I tell him then what I tell you now. If you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. And then we have today, Congress right now is considering paying reparations. I know there's a lot of dumb people who don't even know what that means. It just means to repair. But imagine if in 1863, the Homestead Act, if it said that white people were not eligible for the Homestead Act. You cannot get the land! What if the federal government took all that land that they gave away to white people and white Europeans through the Homestead Act? What if they took that money and that land and gave it all to black Americans? What if they would have done that? Do you think it would have changed the wealth gap in the United States? Not only that, that was after slavery from 1619 to 1865. It built up tremendous wealth for white people. They could buy insurance, housing, land, agriculture, farm animals, goods and services. They could make a living. They could have insurance, and when they passed away, that money would be bequeathed to their family members. If you were a black man or woman, you couldn't buy land. You couldn't buy life insurance. You couldn't buy a business. You couldn't buy stocks. You couldn't put money in a bank. You could not buy insurance, annuities, education. When you died, the money died with you because you couldn't make any money. Sharecroppers, they allowed them to make some money, but in slavery, you could not earn a wage. You worked from cradle to grave, always having the fear of being lynched or beaten or seeing your wife and your children raped by Massa and his children and his good old boys, watching your sons lynched, raped, beaten with impunity. You couldn't call law enforcement because oftentimes they would turn a blind eye. You had no rights. And then when we had the slavery came to an end, we had the black codes, the pig laws. It was just like slavery never ended. And if you were ever arrested for anything, you lost all of your rights. And so the Emancipation Proclamation may be the greatest document in the history of the United States. Oh, what makes you think that's the case, Curry? Because that's the only document that promised descendants of child slavery 40 acres and a mule. Everything else took from us, our people. And so when I think back to when I was in high school, and I had a dumb guy by the name of Roger Shue, who was in a middle-class family, and had the nerve to say in his classroom of nearly all white kids, go back to Africa, where you came from. I never blocked for him again. I wanted him to get sacked every single time. But he apologized in locker room. He thought I was going to punch his face in, but I'm too intelligent for that. I just use it as a moment to give him some education. Like President Abraham Lincoln tried to give President Joe Biden some education. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation not to appease the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Confederates. He did it because it was the right thing to do. Oh, there you go again, talking about doing the right thing! Well, imagine, for those of you who don't believe that reparations are due, you work your butt off all week long. Some of you get paid every 2 weeks. And then you go to get your paycheck, and your boss says, we're not going to pay you. What? Yeah, we're not going to pay you. We don't think you deserve being paid. What? I don't deserve being paid? Yeah. We're going to treat you like we treated the slaves. And then you would have a heart attack, and then you would call a lawyer for the ability to file a lawsuit for employment discrimination. And you know you would! And some of those same knuckleheads, they are the biggest opponents of reparations. Like Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. We don't believe we should have to pay reparations for something that we stole over 150 years ago! You think he's going to die with that money? He can't take it with him. And he's so devilish with his sick butt, he's trying to say he wants to do the devil's work. Pay those people what? We stole that money fair and square! And his family owned slavery. They own slaves. If it's left up to him, then it will never happen because he's evil. But not everybody in the Congress and Senate are evil. And not everybody who's white is evil. Because H.R. 40 has over 172 co-sponsors. I know Senator Tim Scott dropped out of the Republican race for the White House. I think he had a white lady show up on stage supporting him, and he lost the white vote right away. He said there's no racism! Those white people saw him with a white woman, and they told him they're not voting for his butt. Now, they'll vote for a black woman that has a white man with her, but they'll not tolerate the opposite of that. I say the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. All life came from Africa. Every single person. But not every person is going to be fair to you. And that's what I love about Big C Sports. I don't want to be another dumb jock. I'm tired of them! Shucking and jiving. Got reparations in Congress as we are breathing. Are you breathing? If you can't hear somebody breathing, can you hear them snoring? I don't trust people who don't snore. If you don't snore, get out! That's a good message for those of you out there. If you don't snore, get out! What did Johnny Cocker say? If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Well, if you don't snore, you must have quit. Yeah, that's a praise. I got that out of that joke book that I got in the dollar store and got makes sense to you. So don't blame me. Blame the author. But be that as it may, I just love saying I'm so grateful to have the autonomy of over 172 members of the House and the Senate that have co-sponsored the bill H.R. 40 with Representative Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas. Because they're pro-reparations. They know white people stole everything. They stole everything! Everything. And it built up a tremendous head start for people with white skin in this country. Even in the real estate laws in 2023, it's called racial covenant. What? Racial covenant? What's racial covenant? Google it. I know you want to be drunk in love in sports. And that's how they want you. That's dumb as a rock. Drink all those $10 beers. So you stay stupid. Because reparations right now, there's not a professional sports league in the United States that has not benefited from beautiful black bodies, especially the NBA and the NFL, the two most profitable sports entities in the United States, because of black bodies. And they've broken some of those black bodies. So much of their mental mindset is so weak, they don't even talk about reparations now, reparations forever. I don't care who they are, big, strong, fast. They don't say anything about reparations. And they should, because I told you, most NFL teams have about 53 players on the roster. NBA teams have about 15 players on the roster. I just told you there's over 170 members of the House and Senate that have co-signed on reparations. It's called H.R. 40. And the majority of them are white people. At least 80% of them. Probably 90% of them are white. So when people tell you that racism and reparations is about black and white, it's about right and wrong. But that's what I'm saying is this. I'm flummoxed because many of our black brethren, broadcasters and athletes, they're told, shut up and dribble. And we got mostly white people in the House and Senate that are championing reparations. And it's hard for me to find any black athlete or entertainer because they're told shut up. What did Governor Wallace say back in the day? He says segregation now, segregation forever. And it didn't last because decent people stood up against it. Now, there's some people who were upset when segregation came to an end. But what did Dr. King say The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. He didn't say it bends towards touchdowns, home run, three-point play, old man Willie, he's going all the way. It's the late Bill King that had that broadcast when the Raiders were winning the Super Bowl against the Vikings. Willie Brown intercepted a Fran-Tarkenton pass, and he ran it back for a touchdown down in Pasadena, the Coliseum, actually at the Rose Bowl. And today, you would think most of our black brethren are so afraid, even the guys that have $100 million contract. I mean, who are you trying to appease? The Ku Klux Klan? Are the 170 plus members of the House and the Senate that want to sign reparations as you are breathing? Yeah, you got your $1 million contract. You got your $100 million deal. But the majority of black Americans, they got nothing but menial jobs and dealing with the heartache of racism, that oppression that comes with it, that even the Kerner Commission said it's still a big issue in this country. And it seems like people say, well, we can't talk about that because our employer, they don't want us to talk about ending racism. Now, who in the hell is your employer? Governor Wallace died. Segregation now, segregation forever. For those dumb sports leagues, those owners that tell you to shut up and dribble, they gotta even know there's no anecdotal evidence for shutting up. Because I just told you the NFL and the NBA, they're the largest income producing sports machines in the United States. And they're black people. And the NBA and the NFL, I haven't seen it for the NBA yet, but the NFL has in the back of their end zone end racism. You got to give that some praise. They're not shucking and jiving. Now next they're going to say reparations, because if you want to side with the members of the House and the Senate that are co-sponsors of the HR 40 with Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, they want to pass reparations. I know a lot of people want to watch the NBA tournaments and all the stuff with NFL football, and I love it too. But there's something that's bigger than all of us. What does Spock tell us? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. What's Spock got to do with it? Because Spock was a Vulcan. Does that make sense to you? If a Vulcan can do the right thing, can an Earthling do the right thing? Give that some praise. I'm just saying, we're at a similar moment in this country because Tim Scott dropped out of his Republican effort to become elected the next president of the United States because he was seen on stage with a white lady. Oh, how do you know that, Curry? Open your eyes and see it. Why did he drop out? Because some people say, I'll not tolerate it. Oh, they tolerated all the going into the barns, those white slave owners going to get all those black women they could. They weren't staying in bed with their wives. They were getting as much of those black women as they could handle. And then they passed laws of miscegenation. Miscegenation? Yeah, Google it. So I'm asking our sports leagues, if you can rally around ending apartheid in South Africa, and companies divested on South Africa because they were draconian to the black citizens there, to the African citizens, South Africans. Why is the United States still pausing on reparations as a major announcement? And I know it's happening. Georgetown, they already pledged $1 billion to 272 descendants of child slavery. And I know our ancestry in heaven, they gotta be proud of Big C Sports. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. You think everybody likes me? No. I know people that should love me that don't like me. Why? I don't know. But that's their problem, not mine. Because God is my source, will always be. I've done nobody wrong. I've been robbed. I've been embezzled. A lot of that crap. But people that say they love you. I want to thank the California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I want to thank Camila Moore, the chair. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Dr. Amos C. Brown, the Vice Chair. Love to give him praise. I want to thank California Senator Stephen Bradford. We'll be meeting with him soon. I want to give him praise. He's also sponsored Name Image and Likeness NIL that helps college athletes get paid. And that's what's even more perplexing. Without Senator Stephen Bradford, nobody would be getting paid. He's also championed the Ebony Alert to make sure that black kids, when they go missing, they get the same attention from law enforcement that white girls do with the Amber Alert. And he's on the Reparations Task Force. And you don't hear any of our black actors and actresses even standing in support of him. And he's trying to make sure your family members get paid, the ones that don't have the multi-million-dollar contracts, that you get tired of them coming to you saying, hey, can you help me out with a loan? I'm trying to start a business. You making seven figures. I was wondering if you could sponsor my business, if you could buy my house and give me some of your money. And if our athletes will be put on TV, shucking and driving, buy my shoes, damn your shoes. Buy my jersey, damn your jersey. Why don't we stand behind reparations the way we stood behind ending apartheid in South Africa? Don't be afraid. Just do what Big C Sports is doing. Support the senators and the congressmen who are pro reparations and give them some praise. I couldn't care less about Hollywood. I want to see somebody's movie. If they're not pro reparations, I ain't going to see nothing. I'm not paying $1 to go see somebody's concert or a movie if they're not pro reparations. Oh, they do it in private. I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepping. She's brilliant. Love giving her praise. Assembly member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. Dr. Michelle Grill. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, part of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And his family also received reparations as part of the Japanese internment camp. All fair and never war. Again, I want to thank Double O, part of the National PAC Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. Google it. Sent me this article that President Biden signed on his first day in office. Executive Order 13985 on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. The White House. Why would that make people turn off the TV? Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Rick Scott in Florida, they reintroduced a bill to restore Holocaust survivors' rights. Nobody booed them off stage like they did Tim Scott when he showed up with a white lady supporting him. Reparations in Washington, D.C. I'm sure President Biden knows how to get to Georgetown because they pledged over $1 billion and counting to just 272 descendants of chattel slavery that helped build Georgetown. You hear about Georgetown on the basketball program, the late, great John Thompson, Patrick Ewing, Allen Iverson, Lonzo Mourning, some great alumni that came out of there. And then I want to thank Double O, part of the National PAC Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me this article that came from the United Nations. It says that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. And I just want to give that some praise because a lot of people don't even talk about it. All fair and well, but things are going to change. I want to do my best to make sure it changes. President Biden right now is studying reparations. It's in Congress as we speak, and he needs to know no reparations, no vote. I know that a lot of people coming to San Francisco over the weekend, some dignitaries. No reparations, no vote. Freedmen's Bank, you can Google Freedmen's Bank, Freedmen's Bank. It's so important before I get into some sports because it is a sport. Freedmen's Bank, chartered by the United States Congress in March of 1865 to provide a place for former slaves to safely store their money. After several successful years in which freedmen deposited more than $57 million in the bank at that time, it would be worth billions today. It collapsed in 1874 as a result of mismanagement and fraud. They were all white members in charge of that bank, and they stole all that money from those black citizens. Black Americans helped win the Civil War. So my classmate and teammate in high school, he told me when we were celebrating something about Dr. King, he said, "Go back to Africa where you came from." And some of the white kids laughed. I just stared at him as he turned bright red. He later apologized in the locker room and said, "Hey, Curry, I was just joking." And I told him, "You're just stupid." I said, "If you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better." All life came from Africa. Even your sorry butt. According to Dr. Leaking Gregor Mendel. But I know people can Google Freedman's Bank and realize what happened to those black citizens. No matter what you're going through today, when you do work, you expect to get paid. But black Americans, they weren't able to bequeath anything. When people live in Denver Hills, California, and they brag about where they live, and they look around, the neighborhood is lily white. Well, it's called racial covenants, that's why. It's still in the real estate contracts to this day. And everybody has their own thoughts. I'm going to bring up something as I close out today's show, saying I will be, what do they say, either lead, follow, or get out of the way. I will do what I can to champion reparations for descendants of child slavery, because I know a lot of people are afraid, and I don't know why they're afraid, but they've been told to shut up by Laura Ingraham. She says, "Shut up and dribble." But imagine if we had the faith of the size of the grain of a mustard seed, and we started doing what we can to help build up our economy. Reparations will stimulate the United States economy. If you want to pull up nationalblackwallstreetproject.com, it's so important. It's about economic empowerment, justice, and equality for all. Led by the inimitable Reverend Tony Pierce, the president and CEO of the National Black Wall Street. And the mission is on improving economic education. You know, the same kind of education every NBA owner has and every NFL owner has. That's why they have those billion-dollar organizations that are mostly ran by black men. Black Wall Street Global Project is on a mission to elevate our community with a sense of righteousness and economic education for people of color called black Americans. But according to the law, it has to be descendants of child slavery. With over 50 years of experiencing contributions toward community growth, we're adept at amplifying economic recovery for international stability. That's important. The National Reach, our compassionate team, is committed to helping people and improving lives, not to make a profit. We are invested in creating an environment of generational wealth, equality, educated minds, and lucrative economic changes. We organize and educate for justice and empower lives globally. I want to give that some praise because I'm part of that. And I'm very proud to be a part of that. That's why I talk about it all the time on Big C Sports Podcast. I'm the only sports show in the universe that was interviewed by the Associated Press and CBS News about reparations. That has to mean something to somebody, especially to those in Congress that support over 170 members of the House and the Senate. They support H.R. 40 with Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, because it's going to happen. And I'm so proud of the men and women in this great country called the United States of America. The ones who are open-minded and they want to do the right thing, because we're coming up on the holidays, and this is where people get together, those who want to, and those who don't want to get together, they don't. But there's so many people who are fractured in the United States now, for whatever reason, because the devil's busy too. He doesn't want people to get along. He wants everybody divided, and some people will only do it. Some people will take the words out of their mouth, and they will tear down loved ones, because the devil's busy too. They know who they are. They rather see a house divided. That's what the devil wants. And in some households, he finds a comfort. And then they go to church and ask for what? I have no idea. But I want to just say, with Big C Sports, I'm so grateful. And I'm championing I know I've been trying it with NFL football, but some of those guys, they just want to touchdown! All they really care about. But I think they even score a touchdown. In order to score points in the NFL, you got to go past the sign that says "End Racism." When you kick a field goal, it's right there by the goalpost. When you score a touchdown, it's right there in the end zone. You ever hear the NFL commentators talk about it? No, most of them are Caucasian. And for some of them, they believe that they were told, like the white friend told me, my teammate in college, he said, go back to Africa where you came from. And a couple of white people laughed. I just stared at him. I want to punch my fist through his face, but I didn't because I'm too intelligent for that. And he apologized to me in the locker room and said, hey, Curry, I was just joking. And I said, you're just stupid. And I said, if you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. All lights came from Africa. I told him that. Because he was a dumbass. Like there are a lot of people who are dumb to this day. And I want to say, before closing out the day, if we could just get people like Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics. I interviewed his father before the basketball season started. And, you know, everybody has their own thoughts. Marcellus, great man, boxer, commissioner of boxing in Hawaii, talked about some things that are important. And also Dwayne Wade Sr., his dad, he was on television as Dwayne Wade was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame, had a conversation with him on Big C Sports. And these men, they know that reparations are due. But they know that their sons, they know it too. I'm just hoping that enough black men will have enough belief in themselves and faith to realize that members in Congress are on our side. They just need to find enough of us to believe in giving them support. That's why they interviewed Big C Sports with the Associated Press and CBS News. I'm not making it up. So whatever my path is, I'm going to be championing the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. Not really much hope for them, but I'll ask them anyway. I was watching a soccer game in Europe over the summertime, and it said they had a sign along the sideline that said "End Racism," because it's a worldwide issue. It's not about people who are afraid to say it. You know, but if you're afraid, think about what life was like when Governor Wallace was stomping down in the South. He said, segregation now, segregation forever. Well, he died off, and so did his evil ways. But if you tacitly consent to what he said, aren't you just as evil? And so I'm hoping that with the help of Big C Sports and the support of the Associated Press and CBS News and the National Football League and NBA basketball, that we'll get the good people, you know, the good fight. Not the Southern Confederates, not the Ku Klux Klan and their cronies, but the good people of the United States to support what Sheila Jackson Lee said in the bill that she put together. And support California Senator Stephen Bradford for reparations. Now, some people are saying they don't want cash payments. If you don't believe in cash payments, then work for free. If you don't believe in cash payments, tell whoever's ever writing your check that you don't want any more money, because you don't believe in payments. So I disagree with California Governor Gavin Newsom. If you don't believe in payments, then stop getting paid. And put your money where your mouth is. Quit trying to tell black people they don't deserve money. Everybody knows that reparations are due. Just like our Jewish brethren, descendants of Holocaust survivors. We give that praise. We support it. It's time to support us too. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. And how's that for touchdown, home run, 3-point play? Old man Willie, he's going all the way. I'm going to say if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft. You can walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car after they've been drinking. The life you save might be your own or somebody that you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as you always know, what I say, according to the Associated Press and CBS News when they honored Big C Sports. I said, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Jubal Dini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, he said, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat, because listening to Big C Sports makes me realize reparations now, reparations forever. And that's why I'm talking like a butterfly. And I think like a bee. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911, because things change when the police show up if somebody's going upside your head. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, I want to thank my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my brothers, my sisters, my beautiful daughter Daisy, my handsome son Malcolm, and everybody that's ever believed in Big C Sports. I want to say, give that some praise. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. Now is the time we honor President Abraham Lincoln. What did he say? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. Come on, sing it with me like you're at a concert. What did Abraham Lincoln say for Black Americans? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. What advice did President Abraham Lincoln give to President Joe Biden and every member of the House and Senate? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.